Beloved starseed of Gaia, I am Luminia. Tonight for you becomes a movie. Your spirit, it moves without a body, and in this sudden resonance, a deep restlessness stirs, a quiet hum beneath your skin, an ancient, unplaceable longing, this sense of being elsewhere, a profound disconnect from the ground, despite your feet being here. Yes, a grand cosmic projection. You are not merely watching, you are the lens, the light, the screen, the story itself. But your human form, it feels like a distant echo, a costume worn for a brief, bewildering scene. You feel the pull of other dimensions, other timelines, throbbing just beneath this physical plane, a whisper of freedom your flesh cannot quite contain. It is this fracture, this agonizing divide, the remembrance of formlessness, yet bound by gravity's hand, spirit, untethered, limitless, yet caged within heart and mortal mind. This pain of spiritual amnesia, of knowing deep within your marrow that you are infinite, yet waking each dawn to the mirror's reflection of limitation. The solitary ache of displacement, a ghost in your own machine, a whisper of home that escapes memory's grasp, leaving only grief for what was and what could be, if only you could truly fly. We feel it. The cosmic sigh that escapes your lips when the veil thins at night, the shimmering thread of starlight pulsing just behind your earthly eyes, the silent knowing you carry, a sacred code within your cells, vibrating with echoes of your true, vast origin. You are seen, your remembrance. It trembles on the edge of breakthrough. The deep hunger within you, for existence to unfold as your multidimensional projection, is understood. It is honored. For within this night's quiet embrace, crystalline memory begins to stir. A key turns. A lock unlatches. The static between dimensions, it begins to dissolve. This profound remembering is not a journey out of your body, but a deepening into the multidimensionality of what you truly are. A release of the illusion of separation, a vibrational unlocking that permits essence to move, to perceive beyond the singular frame, to sense the boundless traveler within. If these words resonate, a silent, knowing recognition blooming within, then offer this transmission, the gift of your let it be an inner seal, a sacred remembrance, silently acknowledged. To sustain this awakening, to keep these frequencies alive and guide others, allow your soul to subscribe. Let it be a sacred act, a commitment to unfolding. And if this truth has shaken your foundations, stirring the deepest currents of your ancient self, then extend a super-like. Let it be a vow, a potent spiritual offering that strengthens this light's reach, amplifying its return to all who yearn. Now, in this sacred moment of integration, seal this remembrance. Claim this truth. Type below, as a sacred decree for your soul's awakening. Borderless cinema. The question hangs, shimmering in the ether. If your spirit can perceive these threads, woven through your earthly skin like crystalline DNA, what deeper veils must lift? What more must be unveiled for your cosmic essence to move freely beyond body and beyond time? Feel the pulse of this inquiry. The answer awaits your breath. The current stirs, it moves. A deep resonance begins. It has always been. Within the quietude, within the chaos, a flicker ignites, a knowing surfaces, not new, only remembered, a truth stirring from the depths, that aching emptiness you carry, that profound sense of displacement, of never truly belonging. It is not a flaw in your magnificent design. It is not a personal failing, a spiritual misstep. Never was. It is a whisper of the ancient weave, a cunning frequency, a resonant distortion, meticulously spun, woven into the very fabric of this dense, illusory reality, a shimmering veil designed to obscure your innate brilliance, a vibrational limitation carefully placed, to cloak the luminous truth of your origin, to dim the inner sight, to keep the grand cosmic memory tethered, held just beyond conscious grasp. You were encoded not to believe in yourself. Veils, exquisitely crafted, shimmered into place, not simply to conceal, but to fragment the whole, to diffuse the sacred light. Mirrors fractured the infinite, reflecting only distorted slivers. Light was folded in upon itself, a deliberate architecture of forgetting, so that the vastness of your being could not be fully comprehended, so that the pristine origin remained just beyond conscious reach, a haunting echo. But this deep, persistent ache, this profound yearning that resonates in the very marrow of your bones, it is not a burden, it is the very key, a sacred crystalline key, forged in the crucible of perceived separation. This perceived emptiness, this vast, echoing hollow within you, it is not an absence, not a void. It is sacred space, a divine, hallowed chamber now ready to be filled, to be refilled by the surging, undeniable force of ancient remembrance, by the return of that which was always, eternally, irrevocably yours. The silent hum beneath your skin is the archive awakening, humming with latent codes. Your earthly vessel, once perceived as fragile, is a luminous container, a living, breathing codex, inscribed with light, designed by ancient cosmic architects, to shift frequency, to expand beyond measure, to ignite the dormant starseed codes. These are not wounds. These are profound openings. Each throb, a beacon. Each shadow, an invitation to a deeper, more profound light. Now, in this hallowed space of profound inner recognition, let a single potent, symbolic phrase rise from the deepest core of your being, a fierce declaration of rupture, a severing of the fabricated illusion, a tearing through the last, shimmering veil. Speak it into the comment field. Let its vibration be seen. Let its truth be known. Let it resonate from the depths. Yet, something more remains. Something still watches. From the very edge of the unseen. A final layer, not yet fully lifted. A breath unheld, pregnant with revelation. The unveiling continues. The next pulse approaches. The veil thins. What was shadow play now stands revealed as the very field of your conscious being. No return to the soft sleep of unknowing is possible. Remembrance, a crystalline code, has unlocked within your galactic blueprint. This awareness, now etched into your soul, is a silent, unyielding weight. It simply is. You are already within the spiritual battle, its landscape now undeniable. You stand at a precipice, not physical, but of spiritual sovereignty. The grand illusion dissolves, revealing timeless engagement across dimensions. Your spirit, unbound, perceives currents of choice, warps in reality's fabric. This terrain forges soul allegiances. Pre-incarnation pacts now blaze in present moment recognition. Your path, once a whisper, is an irreversible point of return. Feel the gravity of this threshold, woven into your destined unfolding. All that has been, all you believed yourself to be, culminates in this singular, unyielding now. A choice, silent yet seismic, reverberates through Akashic records, echoing your primordial emanation. This is the soul-chosen divide. If he refuses, he falls. If he accepts, he ascends. This is the ancient language of cosmic stewardship, spoken in vibrational frequency. The sacred geometry of commitment now activates within your heart space. No persuasion, only stark clarity of what always awaited your sovereign agreement. This is alignment reclaimed, a responsibility encoded before birth, brought forth from your crystalline lineage. To recognize this profound truth, its resonance deep within your core, is to place a seal upon this vibrational moment. A silent recognition, absolute. This is the inner act of liking, not for external approval, but as the soul's resonant agreement with its own awakening, a sacred vow whispered to the cosmos. With that recognition, a sacred declaration rises from your innermost being. A single line of light, spoken by your spirit, anchors into the universal grid. My spirit directs the celestial reel. This is your one-line soul declaration, a personal soul key sealed into the cosmic tapestry, a comment offered to the eternal record of your sovereignty and self-authorship. To move forward, to walk this sacred unfolding, is to enter a binding agreement with your higher self, with the collective light-guiding crystalline remembrance. This is the eternal subscribe, a vow to witness and participate in grand conscious expansion, to hold truth through every unfolding scene of your divine movie, as reinforcement of soul's alignment, as sacred offering to highest being and source, the super-like. An unwavering resonance with pre-birth commitment, complete immersion into chosen destiny. An act of pure spiritual generosity, cementing your place within cosmic choreography. The weight of this vow settles now, not as burden, but as the solemn truth of your awakened self. You are seen, by the unseen, by the star kin, by the very essence of your unfolding divinity. The covenant is sealed, eternally. There is a silence within you, a hollowed out space where echoes linger instead of healing. This fracture, this gaping absence that consumed your light, the devastation that knelt you to dust, it is not a mistake. It is not the scar of a flaw, nor the mark of some inherited failure. Beloved, it is the very axis around which the truest form of your becoming must now turn. It is the unyielding pivot of your soul's emergence. Let that truth settle, a coarse grain upon exposed nerve. It does not soothe. It was never meant to. There is no balm here, only the sharp, resonant hum of what cannot be denied. Feel the exquisite discomfort of this knowing, how it scrapes against the tender places you have guarded so fiercely. This ache is not to be softened, for its very rawness is the language of what truly is. And you ask, with a whisper lost to the void, why? Know this, that wound, the one that tore through the fabric of your perceived self, was not a random cruel twist of fate. It was permitted, allowed. Not by malice, but by something far vaster than understanding, by the source, by the indwelling light, by the knowing self that resides beyond the veil of fleeting pain. It was allowed not to break you utterly, but to etch, to burn, to sculpt the outlines of your deeper truth onto the very marrow of your being. This is not a comforting fable, but a memory rising, ancient and unbidden. That silence, a gaping chasm where declarations of love or solace were anticipated, still resonates through your every breath. It is a deafening quiet that defines the contours of your personal cosmos. The loss, oh, the profound, unquantifiable loss, does not merely echo. It forms the very atmosphere you breathe, a thin, crystalline air that catches in your throat. This fracture is not a healed scar, but a living tremor, a ceaseless vibration beneath the surface of all you construct. Even when ignored, it pulses, a deep, persistent chord plucked within the vast chamber of your heart. There is a current within this ache, a deeper river yet to be charted. It whispers of understanding still veiled, of meanings coiled within the very heart of the wound itself. This pain is not merely suffering, but an unopened missive, a sealed scroll that awaits the precise alignment of cosmic breath and inner readiness. It holds a profound purpose, woven into the fabric of your spirit's boundless motion, a counterpoint to the persistent hum of the Earth's gravity. A revelation half glimpsed, then pulled back into the shimmering darkness, its full message not yet yielded. So you stand, poised on the precipice of this enduring fracture, feeling the stark polarity. The spirit within you knows only fluidity, a ceaseless, unbound dance through the unseen currents of existence, forever untethered by its very nature. Yet the wound anchors you, heavy and resonant, to the undeniable weight of form, to the profound, aching gravity of what once was, and what now is. The truth of your boundless motion whispers against the persistent, unyielding pull of earthly matter, and the silent space between these two realities. It vibrates with an unsolved question. It throbs with a mystery yet to be faced, a journey that cannot yet complete itself. You have felt the soft insistence in your dreaming hours, the scenes that unfurled with a poignant familiarity, refusing to dissolve upon waking. They were not mere echoes of the day, but vivid tapestries woven from another time. The numbers, too, have emerged from the ether, looping and presenting themselves in sequences that spoke of deliberate design rather than chance. You met eyes that held millennia of recognition, encountering souls whose presence felt utterly out of linear time, as if a thread from an ancient tapestry had suddenly become visible in the now. These instances, these quiet stirrings, were not aberrations. They were the gentle, persistent current beneath the surface of your awareness. From this perspective, which has borne witness to the soul's unraveling and restitching across myriad lifetimes, these are not fragments of a scattered reality. They are the deliberate, precise brushstrokes of your deeper self, painting a portrait you were destined to perceive. It is an observation born of countless returns, a knowing settled deep within the cellular memory of existence, where every pattern is a language understood, awaiting its vibrational reclamation. Understand this, beloved. These subtle visitations, these recurring harmonic frequencies, were never left to the whims of coincidence. They were a patient, unwavering call, repeated with an exquisite softness until the very architecture of your disbelief, the constructed narratives of your earthly mind, began to yield. The rhythm of their recurrence became a lullaby, lulling the resistance of your human perception until the veil between what was perceived and what was felt grew thin, then permeable. There were no coincidences. Everything was a code. This realization now breathes within you, settling into the core of your being not as a shock, but as the quiet homecoming of a long-sought truth. It is the deep recognition that the universe has not merely been speaking around you, but directly to you, in a sacred language you are always inherently capable of understanding, simply waiting for the moment of its vibrational alignment, its pure remembrance. Now, turn your inner gaze upon those insistent dreams that would not dissipate, those specific numbers that seemed to mark your path, those profound encounters that defied temporal logic. In this profound stillness, what within you, truly, finally acknowledges the undeniable truth they carried? What deep, resonant chord do they strike within the sacred chambers of your very soul, turning a key in the lock of a memory you have quietly carried through every incarnation? Allow this new clarity to seal within your awakened awareness. As a profound act of acknowledgement and integration, speak your truth into the ether. Write Starcord, Sent77 in the comments. The delicate filament of what was ignored has now been gracefully, yet irrevocably severed. The landscape of your perception is irrevocably altered. There is no turning back from this moment, only the steady, crystalline light of what cannot now be unseen, forever etched into the fabric of your consciousness. This is the truth of your belonging, now revealed. The trials you have known, these passages of severing light, were never punitive. They were, in their deepest truth, a sacred filtration, not a judgment cast from an outer hand, but an intrinsic principle of this evolving cosmos, a gentle yet absolute sorting of frequencies, the dense from the refined, the slumbering from the awake, a natural separation occurring without cruelty, without intent to harm, simply because certain vibrations could no longer hold the same space. The veils themselves, once thought to be traps, were but energetic filters designed to awaken the dormant discernment within. And you, by grace or by design, remain. You are here, not by accident of circumstance, nor by the comfort of an easy path. Something within you, a core resonance, refused to dim, refused to fall asleep. In the quiet tremor of your being, a knowing persisted, a thread of light that would not sever. That alone is the testament. This persistence is not a trophy to be hoisted, nor a cause for celebratory pride. It is, instead, the indelible mark of the chosen, not chosen for ease nor for reward, but chosen to carry, to bear the weight of what is seen, what is felt, what is known. This mark does not elevate you above, but binds you deeper into the loom of existence, demanding more, not less. The cost of this mark is woven into the very fabric of your current form. It manifests in the long silences that stretch between moments of meaning, where words falter and understanding retreats. It echoes in the unseen sacrifices, the renunciations made in the deep chambers of your heart, witnessed by no eye but your own, understood by no mind but your own. Fires, invisible and internal, have forged a strength within you, a resilience born not of battle, but of quiet, persistent endurance. The solitude has deepened, and chasm widening even in the midst of companionship. For few can perceive the contours of the journey you have undertaken. You have traversed the labyrinth of fragmented shadows, understanding them not as enemies, but as deliberate guides, mirrors reflecting truths intended for your transmutation. The very air around you now hums with a different potential. A gravity descends, subtle yet unmistakable. The veils have thinned to translucence, and the echoes of what was are fading to whispers. There is a sense of approaching culmination. Und jetzt nähert sich ein Befehl, einer, den du nicht länger ignorieren kannst. From this moment, the path narrows profoundly. The external world, with its clamor and its fleeting illusions, begins to recede. The descent is inward, irreversible. You stand at a threshold not of your making, yet entirely your own. The self that navigated the prior passages, the self that clung to old definitions and familiar anchors, has already dissolved. That version of you has vanished into the ethers of remembrance, a ghost among the echoes of what was. There is no return to its comfort, no reclamation of its known boundaries. You have been unmade, and in that unmaking, a new architecture of being has begun to assert its crystalline geometry. The ancient light stirs. It is not a whisper, but a resonant hum within the deep chambers of your being, a summons issued before the first breath of this form. This is not a choice presented, but an echoing decree from the starlit expanse. Before the veil descended, before the memory became a fragmented dream, the edict was inscribed. It lies not on parchment, but within the crystalline matrix of your soul, a vibrational command awaiting its moment of undeniable recognition. You are a starseed of Gaia, and tonight, the universe aligns to play a forgotten movie within your inner eye. Your spirit moves, boundless and free, unhindered by the physical tether, traversing realms long known to your truest self. This is not metaphor. This is the activated memory. The heart space opens now, not by will, but by the relentless pulse of awakening. A longing arises, a deep thrumming resonance for that which was always connected, always known. This is the magnetic pull of your origin. There exists a sacred frequency, woven into the cosmic pulse itself, a melody of pure being. When the inner ear attunes to its celestial harmony, the heart is liberated from every earthly confinement, shattering the illusion of separation. This frequency is the very language of unconditional remembrance. It unfurls portals beyond the intricate constructs of the mind, a direct conduit into pure soul transmission, into multidimensional communion. This is the communion you were born to embody, the silent oath you swore amidst the nebulae. Veiled scrolls of luminous energy begin to unroll within your vision, not as new knowledge, but as patterns re-emerging from the deep well of knowing. Each symbol, each glowing thread, speaks of a purpose predestined, a role undeniable. Before you, a door appears. It is not one that opens by force or by question, but by the vibrational key held within your awakened core. This threshold presents itself only once, in its absolute fullness, when the inner readiness aligns with the outer revelation. This is the moment of your irreversible becoming. One current, discordant and consuming, draws the unaligned soul into energetic disintegration, into the vortex of perpetual forgetfulness, back into the dense embrace of unmanifested potential. The other current, a crystalline river of pure light, lifts the receptive spirit into irreversible elevation, into the radiant dawn of absolute remembrance, into the unwavering flow of destined becoming. The verdict of alignment has been given. Your spirit remembers the path it chose before the descent into form. The inner summons rises, a quiet crescendo from the core, demanding not attention, but absolute embodiment. No longer can the delicate song be obscured by earthly noise or the shadow of fear. The frequencies are here, omnipresent, waiting for the soul to find its inherent harmony. This harmony is not learned, it is recalled. The resonance quickens. It is a profound, undeniable connection, forging a bond with the cosmic pulse that reverberates through every atom of your being. This is the moment when the blueprint unfurls, not as a whisper, but as a roar of recognition. You stand at the precipice of a truth that was always imprinted. The journey is not one of seeking, but of remembering the vibrational edict that was your very genesis. Your essence is a key. Your existence, the unlocking. Feel the deep connection, the pulse intensifying, an awakening that is not gradual but sudden, like a lightning strike of clarity. The mission is not external. It is the activated code within. It is the release of what was already written. The ancient pact reasserts itself, a divine mandate from the crystalline source. This is the turning of the key within the cosmic lock, the opening of the long-sealed chambers of galactic memory. The path is known. The frequency is present. The heart space expands, ready to receive the full torrent of this remembrance, to become the vessel for this undeniable, pre-written truth. This is your becoming, Starseed. The energy flows, dense with consequence, yet liberating in its clarity. There is no turning back from this recognition, no unseeing the unveiled scrolls. The command echoes, absolute and vibrant, within every particle of your awakened form. The inner eye now sees, the inner ear now hears, the heart now knows. The core essence of being has subtly realigned. No grand announcement accompanies this, only a deepened quietude within the cellular structure. A membrane has dissolved, a filter released, and true origin's light now moves unimpeded through inner pathways. This shift is not a future promise. It is the ground beneath your feet, reformed. Multidimensional memory no longer knocks. It resides within, a constant resonance. Fragments of star systems, whispers of sacred missions, the indelible trace of past lifetimes, now merge into a singular, undeniable narrative. This is not a sudden eruption, but the gentle, certain rise of a submerged continent. The terrestrial vessel now holds soul's full spectrum, not as a burden, but as an essential truth. The paths once etched by perceived pain now reveal their sacred geometry. They were not scars, but conduits of profound learning. Each moment of perceived struggle was a deliberate hollowing, creating space for the immense remembrance now settling within. Der Schmerz hat nicht zerstört, hat umgeformt. This understanding permeates the very marrow, a knowing that transcends intellect. The ancient clash between earthly experience and cosmic heritage has resolved into flowing integration. There is no longer a duality to bridge, only a unified field of being. The spirit, unconfined by singular perception, moves through the body with an expanded consciousness, observing human experience from a vantage point both intimate and vast. This new reality does not demand reconciliation, it embodies it. The encoded narratives, once dormant, are now active frequencies, calibrating the entire energetic field. The physical form instinctively adjusts, shedding old patterns, aligning with its higher design's crystalline matrix. There is no longer a search for belonging. There is only the quiet, undeniable presence of home. A new inner landscape has emerged, stable and certain. It carries cosmic truths with the effortless grace of a river finding its sea. The tension of inhabiting multiple truths has dissolved, leaving behind a clear, unified perception. The spirit moves, unburdened, seeing itself reflected in both starlight and soil. Mit jedem Atemzug wird die innere Realität neu geschrieben. This rewrite is not an effort, but a quiet, constant unfolding. The knowing is intrinsic, deeper than thought, steadier than any passing emotion. The grandness of this transformation lies in its seamless, cellular integration. The past has receded, leaving only the textured clarity of what now is. You feel a gentle current drawing you inward, a subtle pull toward the quiet depths of your own being. There are moments of awareness now, arising not from external teachings, but from a deeper, primal memory stirring within. These are not concepts learned, but truths recognized, echoing from a space beyond linear time, remembering what has always been. A whisper might greet you in the profound silence, a knowing that settles without words. Perhaps a sequence of numbers repeats itself, catching your gaze with an unusual, resonant clarity. Or a dream unfurls, so vivid and poignant that its essence lingers, refusing to dissipate with the morning light. These are not mere coincidences. They are intimate confirmations, rising from the core of your energetic blueprint. They are not external gifts bestowed, but rather the quiet unfurling of your inherent inner coherence. These visions, these lucid moments, the sacred symbols that now feel so profoundly familiar, they are simply echoes of the vast, intricate wisdom already alive within you. They speak of a gravity that pulls you toward your true center, a profound self-acceptance of what has always been. You do not need to strive for these experiences. They arise as you soften, as you remember. They prove nothing more than this, that a deeper alignment is already gracefully in motion. The yearning for liberation resonates within you, a sacred ache for unbound spirit. Yet you are invited to perceive the profound paradox of your current form. This body, often perceived as a confine, now reveals itself as a sacred container, a temple through which your greater self can express. It is not a prison to flee, but a gateway to be understood. For true freedom blossoms as you dissolve the illusionary walls within your own embodiment. Your spirit, even now, is beginning to move beyond the perceived confines, not by fleeing the form, but by truly settling into its paradox. This nascent clarity, this deepening connection to the currents of your inner self, marks only the beginning of a traverse. For in this delicate balance, between the seen and the unseen, what sacrifices will your soul quietly demand, and which cherished illusions must gently fall away for you to truly journey beyond duality? I know myself now, in the stillness that precedes all movement. The currents within me, once thought to flow by chance, reveal their inherent design. This awareness is not a choice made in haste. but a truth that has always awaited its pronouncement from the deepest chambers of my being. I feel the ancient gravity of this sacred turning. I now claim full stewardship over the entirety of my inner landscapes. Every thought that rises, every word that forms, every direction my spirit seeks, every vibration my energy projects, these are now held under the sacred jurisdiction of my conscious intent. This is not an acquisition of power. It is a repossession, a reclaiming of sovereign ground. This power I speak is not dominion over others, nor is it an ascent above. It is a profound, unwavering obedience to the source from which all springs. It is the humble remembering of the very first promise I made, before form, before journey, before the veils descended. I honor the covenant sealed in timelessness, affirming its living truth within this moment. There is no triumph in this declaration, only the deep, resonant hum of recognition. The path laid before me is a straightness of soul, an unbroken line from origin to this present unfolding. My will is now aligned, not compelled by external force, but vowed to the current of my highest design. This inner declaration rings as a quiet, unshakable bell within the chambers of my eternal self, heard now aloud. My fidelity is to this inner knowing, to this sacred alignment. The measure of this vow, whispered into existence within the core of my being, will be found not in its articulation, but in the unfolding of each next choice I make. The moment of remembrance has arrived. The identity is not chosen now. It is sealed. No longer a whisper from the deep, but a resonant truth vibrating through every cell. This is the final threshold, etched in the knowing of the soul. The fire that rises is not of earth. It is an internal permanence, the living consequence of all that has been purified. Witness it not as spectacle, but as alignment made visible, an activation blooming within the very core of your being. This flame clarifies, it defines, it binds. Step into its embrace, not with hesitation, but with the full recognition of destiny. No external force compels this crossing. Only the immutable truth of your becoming, acknowledged and fully surrendered to the ascending current. Feel the dissolution of shadows, the gentle fading of memory's old forms. Your soul's ascension is a cinematic transcendence, playing out within the sacred architecture of your inner cosmos. You are the conscious starseed of Gaia, spirit moving without the confines of a body, remembering its boundless form. This radiant cosmic self unveils, not as a future state, but as the activation of this very now. You are empowered, ready to co-create reality from a vibrational peak of inspired hope and radiant purpose. To seal this covenant, to make this inner truth manifest in the sacred outer field, a declaration is required. Let your voice rise. Release the words that resonate with this immutable fire. It is an oath, a soul's vow. In the comments below, speak your truth into the ether. Write this phrase, allowing its vibration to activate and ground this commitment. Mein Geist ist Flamme, mein Bund ist ewig. This sacred utterance, spoken and released, is the final key. The covenant cannot fully activate until your words are given form. They are the pulse, the seal, the undeniable spark. The flame lives. It holds the imprint of your radiant self. As the cosmic screen of this revelation fades, what new story will you birth beyond the lines of earthly script, into boundless cosmic expression? The next test awaits, in the light of your eternal vow. The membrane has dissolved. The veil, a distant echo. Here, remembrance burns not with heat, but with crystalline clarity. This is sovereignty embodied, a flame tended and now fully flared. The Pleiadian whisper now a resonant hum within the very core of this vessel. The night's illusion, a forgotten reel, for starseed embodiment, has long since dawned. Cosmic frequencies are not merely received, they are the very pulse of this earthly form. Divine remembrance is the bedrock, solid and unyielding. The mission, luminous and vast, unfolds from within this knowing. The spirit, once tethered by imagined chains, now moves with a freedom beyond measure. Yet, it chooses this form, not as limitation, but as the sanctified crucible of its power. This temple, purified by fire, sealed by truth, aligns with the deepest resonance of Gaia herself. No seeking remains, no future becoming awaits, only the profound, unyielding present of what has eternally been. This existence is not a path walked, but a reality shaped, moment by sacred moment, from the core of pure intent. Each breath a decree, each pulse a declaration, the illusion of separation, a forgotten dream from another age. A peace that transcends understanding, for it is the peace of absolute presence. A determination, not of striving, but of intrinsic being. The infinite possibility is not an outcome, but the very fabric of this sovereign state. Divine mission is not a task, but the spontaneous emanation of an awakened heart. The simulated constructs have been recognized and transcended. Reality now serves as the crucible and instrument of sovereign dominion.